Now, it's really, really uncommon to find a Krogan that is interested in science. Though that's usually left to the Solarians. But the Krogan, there's only three Krogan that are that could be considered scientists, and that's Okir, Fortek. He was the lead researcher for the Urdnot clan, and it was pretty funny because he was kind of mad with Rex in Mass Effect 2 because he was like, he's having me research things that don't explode. So he was mad because Rex kind of stopped that whole research in weapons and stuff that is so typical of Krogan, and preferred to invest the time and the effort in finding how to replenish plants and research plant genetics and new medical improvements and stuff. So that's what he used Fortek for. And then the third one is Droyas. Droyas was in Mass Effect 1. He was the researcher, the scientist on Saren's base in Vermeer. He was researching some kind of genophage thing. And it's really rare. It's also very rare, which is kind of strange, but it's very rare for Krogans to look for a cure for the genophage. They actually, they kind of gave up on it. They don't look for a cure for the genophage because they're very pessimistic when it comes to the genophage. They think they're doomed. They're just like, that's it. We're gonna die. Oh well. They don't invest a lot of time or effort or anything to research the genophage. One of the only Krogans that has really researched and tested and stuff like that was Droyas, that was researching the genophage. Most of the species that research the genophage are not Krogan. Like, you've got Solarians or, other races that are looking into it. But the Krogan are very pessimistic when it comes to their outcome. They kind of just gave up on it. They kind of see themselves as a dying race, and one day they're going to be extinct. That's why you have so many Krogan that are mercenaries. They're just like, what the hell? What the hell do I have left? I'm gonna freaking die one day anyways. So they just go out and do whatever the hell they want. They become bodyguards. They become mercenaries, pirates. They become all that bad stuff because it taps into their violent side and that fighting side. But also because they have nothing to lose. That's their mentality. So going back just a little bit with the warlord Okir. I'm not going to talk too much about him, but he was a scientist. He was a researcher, but he wasn't researching the genophage. He was more like, he's like, I don't want to cure the genophage. The Krogan that survived the genophage, those births, the Krogan that are born, they should be able to to survive. He was all about survival of the fittest, kind of like Darwinism. So he wanted to make a super soldier, a Krogan super soldier, because he was fanatical and pretty much ruthless. He was prepared to do whatever it took to create the perfect Krogan, the perfect soldier, what the Krogan were supposed to be. He lost followers. A lot of his followers, a lot of Krogan, they were like, screw this guy. This guy's nuts. Because he was prepared to do whatever it took, even if it sacrificed Krogan. The Krogan needed numbers, and Okir was creating Krogan, even though they were bred in a tank. He would kill them because they weren't strong enough. And then he also he traded his Krogan to the collectors for technology. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the genophage. It's kind of controversial, really, when it comes to other races, what they think about the genophage. The Krogan were a threat to the galaxy. A lot of people say that that was coming to them. I was reading that they were seen as a plague that was spreading across the galaxy. I mean, if they were just growing in numbers, but they weren't attacking people and attacking planets and trying to take over planets that were already claimed, if they weren't doing that stuff, then okay, then there's a lot of them. We could use them in the military or something. I'm sure the council would have used the Krogan as a big part of their military force. They probably wouldn't have got the Turian into the council until later, because they had the Krogans. But the Krogans just can't live peacefully. It's hard for them to be a part of a team. They're very individualistic. They're very selfish. They look out for themselves, especially after the genophage. After the genophage, they became very individualistic. They were like, screw these guys. I have to survive. If these guys die, whatever, but as long as I survive. So they became even more hostile, because they have the mentality that everybody in the galaxy is out to get them, and they're not going to survive. Like I said, they have a very pessimistic view on their situation. The very interesting thing about Morden in Mass Effect 2 is he's talking about, I mean, some people misunderstand Morden. They think that Morden wants to kill the Krogan. That the genophage was, that he's like, stupid Krogan, I want them dead. That's not the case. Morden, he feels bad about the genophage, but it was really, there was nothing that they could have done differently. Morden says the Krogans don't see that they're actually evolving to undo the damages of the genophage. The Krogan biology is such that it's so used to adapting to horrible situations that they're almost evolving to kind of get almost immune to the genophage. But Morden says that they are dangerous, that it's just part of their nature. They can't control it. And so he and the special task group created like another genophage, a second version that would prevent overpopulation of the Krogan, because that is what was dangerous about the Krogan, that there were just too many. And he says that they could be very destructive if they grow in number, because they're gonna want more and more, and they're not gonna be at peace. They're never gonna be at peace with the galaxy, especially after what happened with the genophage. They're very sour about that. So Morden is like, this new genophage is going to keep them their reproduction low, but still at a point where they could still give birth. They're not completely infertile. And the interesting thing about what Morden is saying is that the situation with the Krogan and the genophage isn't as bad as people think. It's not that bad. Like he said, the Krogan are freaking evolving to become immune to it, like to undo its effects, and they don't see it. The Krogan don't see that they're actually getting out of it. That's why Morden had to do that other genophage. And the Krogan just don't see it, because they're so pessimistic about it that they think they're doomed. And he says what's destroying the Krogan isn't so much the genophage anymore. It's their attitude. It's their violent nature. They're killing themselves off. So he says if they were to change their views about themselves and about the galaxy, that the galaxy isn't out to freaking get them, that they don't have to be in war all the time, they would actually see an increase in their numbers. They would see that they were adapting to the genophage, but they haven't noticed this yet because they keep fighting each other and killing each other off. It's not so much the genophage anymore. I just thought that was really interesting. I was like, wow. It really goes to show you just how passionate the Krogan are about fighting, about defending themselves towards, sometimes towards nothing. It's just in their nature. So since I'm talking so much about the Krogan physiology and anatomy, let me go into a little bit of the Krogan biology. I never realized this, but actually the art director of Mass Effect, Matt Rhodes, he actually based the look of the Krogan, I guess the face, it was inspired by bats. The look, the appearance of bats. And I had never put that together. Bats and Krogans, I was always like, if they look like turtles. Or I always thought they looked like turtles. But anyways, given the planet that the Krogan reside in, Tuchanka, their biology, like I had been mentioning, is very adaptable. Like it adapts to harsh environments, and they've just evolved in such an interesting way. Not a lot of people know this, but Krogans actually have multiple of the same organ. So like, for example, they have 2 hearts, they have 4 lungs, and they have 4 balls, 4 testicles. That's why you hear Krogans, instead of saying balls when they're referring to their crotch or a pair, they say quad. I just found that fascinating. Not that they have 4 balls, well, kind of, but more like that they have multiple, they have freaking 4 lungs. I mean, oh my god. That's why they could survive so much. That's why when you go against a Krogan in Mass Effect, when you're fighting against a Krogan, it's hard to drop them. Because if you shoot them in the heart, there's another heart that's pumping. They're not going to die until you kill them, until you hit that other heart. So it's just crazy, and that's why they could breathe so much poisons and so much radioactive crap on Tuchanka, because they have 4 freaking lungs. They have pretty bulgy eyes, and they actually have some of the. They're actually one of the races that has the best vision, and that is kind of an indication of them being a prey. Predators have good vision, but prey have evolved to being extra sensitive to what they see, because they have to be careful, especially Krogan, because on Tuchanka there's a lot of predators. I think it says that they have 240-degree vision. Their shoulder humps, those big things on their shoulders, store fluids and nutrients, so they could survive extended periods of time without food and water because of that storage. The bigger the hump, the higher the status when it comes to the Krogan, because it's like, oh yeah, that guy's got his stuff. That guy knows how to survive. So because of their skin, their strong skin, they're pretty much it's hard to cut through the skin. It's hard they don't get scraped. They don't get cut easily. It's hard for them to break the skin, and they could survive through really hot weather or really cold weather, and also really harsh environments, like, radioactive type of stuff, or chemical and just hazardous environments.